Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just Fed, where I am playing Final Fantasy XIV. Last episode we did the Binding Coils of Bahamut, and today we're going to do at least a part, I'm not sure how much, of the second Coils of Bahamut. Now another thing that you might notice is my cat, who is on my lap currently, and is definitely purring, and you will definitely hear it, but there's no going around that. I can get rid of the cat, but then she's just gonna come back anyway, so whatever. A crystal-choked abyss lieth beneath the Cartano Flats, the unholy cradle of an elder primal. And by thy hand were truths great and terrible wrested from these once celestial depths. Yet, as is oft the case, an answer doth breed a profusion of questions. The unknown doth beckon with irresistible allure. Ne'er have the mysteries of the Red Moon lain so neatly within our grasp. Lady Alizé hath sent word of her coming. 'Tis time once more to brave the precipice, and leap, unflinching, into the jagged wound that doth gape beneath the land. That doth. My apologies, I trust I have not kept you waiting overlong. Lynn, I am both delighted and reassured to have you at my side once more. I would not waste your time with trivialities. Let us proceed directly to the discussion of that which we have learned, and that which we hope to learn anon. Initially, it was evidence of a new primal that led us to delve into the cavern beneath Castrum Archidens and to explore the subterranean scars left after the fall of Bahamut. As you will well recall, what we found was a vast, largely intact fragment of the fallen satellite, and within the depths of that structure we discovered not the new primal we had expected, but the broken form of Bahamut himself. Yet even this great revelation would soon be overshadowed by the appearance of my own dear grandfather. I have since shared our sundry findings with Rambros, preeminent scholar of the Sons of St. Koinag, and he in turn did kindly furnish me with his theory concerning the Elder Primal's elegant prison. It would seem that Bahamut was constructed to gather unto itself the rays of the sun, and thence channel this radiant bounty into the Crystal Tower. The ancients saw a great potential in Bahamut's capacity to manipulate energies of otherwise unmanageable magnitude. 'Twas for this reason that they did bind him within the Red Moon, to serve as its living core. Do you remember the sight that greeted us at the culmination of our journey? The colossal devices that surrounded and seemed to cradle the incomplete form of the Elder Primal? From the information provided to us by the Sons of St. Koinag, we have learned that these contraptions were termed internment hulks, and that each bore the designation Ragnarok class. The purpose of these hulks is believed to be twofold. First, they are meant to act as binding coils, rendering Bahamut incapable of escape. And second, they are meant to feed him. Perversely, the selfsame energy which prevents him from moving also serves to sustain his corporeal manifestation. Bahamut is permitted neither to die nor to truly live. He merely is allowed to be. For century upon century was the Elder Primal thus imprisoned, bound about in fetters so subtle in their working, and yet so adamant, that though his cell be destroyed, Bahamut lieth yet at the mercy of his long-departed captors. It has long been held that the primals require the prayers of their faithful followers to exist. Yet none alive worship Bahamut. Could it be then that the Elegants found a way to simulate prayer itself? It seems the only logical explanation. I would postulate, therefore, that the regenerative mechanisms in question also supply something akin to the power of prayer. Consequently, if all of the internment husks were to be rendered inactive, Bahamut should dissolve into the ether. Upon the evidence of thy previous foray, we determined that the Elder Primal is sustained by 3 such binding coils. Thus did we commence to scour the realm, and found in its walls with an as yet unexplored fragment of the Lesser Moon bearing a most familiar etheric signature. And after conducting a preliminary investigation, we believe we have discovered a point from which this North Shroud fragment and the second of the internment hulks can be entered. As the yours just soared in the darkness, I would have you once more lead the charge. I will, of course, be there at your side. Once you have made your preparations, head to Falgord Float and make yourself known to my assistant, Serpent Lieutenant Anay. The fallen fragment is not far from the settlement, and her position provides a convenient rendezvous point. I will break these elegant fetters, for they bind my grandfather as surely as they bind Bahamut. Another thing that you might have noticed is that I have a different glamour. I don't think I had this glamour last time, but here it is. This is the glamour that the drawing is based on. That is on the bottom left of the screen. Although the drawing has different colors, but it's fine. Whatever. And I like a slightly different idea too. But this is in any case going to be the main glamour for Lynn. Maybe at some point I might change something about the pants, but I don't think so. I honestly really dig this style, especially with these weapons too. Originally it was going to be the Excalibur, but then I was like, Excalibur is a little bit too girthy for my liking. Not that elegant. It does show, like, I feel like the Excalibur definitely shows like the resolve of a paladin, but it doesn't really show the elegance that I want Lynn to exhibit. Using them difficult words. Linda there, I've been expecting you. My name is Anai. I've been accorded the rank of lieutenant within the Order of the Twin Adder that I may better assist Lady Alize with her endeavors here in the Toilswood. Such authority has allowed me to act without interference from the local soldiery, and to conduct a preliminary investigation of the Alder Springs fragment. From what we have seen of the exterior, the structure shares many common features with the one you explored in Lanoche, and likely plays host to a similar complement of guardians. But I fear words alone will do little to prepare you for what lies ahead. Pray seek out my comrade to the south and west. He is charged with observing all that occurs in the vicinity of the fragment, and will be well placed to show you the thing, if nothing else. What business brings you to this broken land? Unless you fancy being ground to a bloody pulp under the granite fist of a wandering golem, I suggest you bugger off. Oh, my apologies, madam. Lady Alize did send word of your impending arrival, but 'twould seem I've grown rather too accustomed to shooing away curious sellswords and reckless explorers. Behold, if you will, one of the fallen shards of the Red Moon, Bahamut. Our initial survey uncovered no evidence of the Empire's presence, which, while fortunate in itself, meant that the approach to the fragment had yet to be cleared. After much effort, however, we succeeded in carving out a semblance of a path, which should grant you access to the entrance, and that, I'm afraid, is where our progress ended. The interior? Well, assuming that the architecture of this hulk resembles the first, the master controls you seek will be located on the bottommost layer, past all the ingenious and deadly defenses of which the ancient elegance seemed so indecently fond. If you would know more, I'm afraid there's nothing for it but to brave the depths of the fragment yourself. Lady Alize will soon be arriving at Falcourt. Pray do not tarry on your way back to the lieutenant's post. I imagine our young mistress will be most eager to commence the expedition. The road ahead promises peril aplenty, and I would humbly suggest that this is not the occasion to stint on preparation or provisions. May the 12 watch over you. I will say, from the point that you reach turn 5, as they call it, T5, which was Tintania. From that point onwards, the coils start to become hard. Every one of them is difficult. So from this point onward, you should expect a challenge. Because they ain't easy. Especially when you don't know what you're doing. Just, fair warning. That is if you're doing them synced. If you do them unsynced, it's kind of a piece of cake, but whatever. I don't really count on synced, really, that much. Mr. Sadair, I trust the private's explanation was worth the journey? Simply securing an approach to the fragment's entrance proved a monumental task. I dare not think what the feeling its inner defenses would entail. If there's aught I might do to aid you. Ah, Lady Ellie... Oh, my apologies. Master Alphino. Has there been a change of plan? Urianger informed me of the impending expedition. I merely came to exchange a few words with my fellow scion before she disappeared into the depths of the second coil. Then, though I would strenuously deny it were she present, my sister's admiration and affection for our grandsire exceeds even mine own. Upon the matter of his legacy, therefore, Alize is wont to go above and beyond the call of duty. In our grandfather's absence, she has made the salvation of Eorzea her personal crusade. 'Twas that which prompted her to brave the perils of the first coin. Yet the fact that she risks her life in this matter is not the greatest of my concerns. No, it is her subsequent fixation upon my grandfather's shade that worries me most. This quest to rid the world of Bahamut must not become a quest to save a man long dead. My sister must needs have better reasons to fight. A time will come when the fate of the realm rests upon our shoulders, and when it does, we must be strong in our resolve, and certain of the stakes for which we risk all. There is a wide difference between fighting for the good of Eorzea and fighting for the love of a man who died for the good of Eorzea. Alisaie must choose her own path. She cannot rely on grandfather to choose it for her, for he is gone. I am glad that it is you with whom she makes this journey. If Alisaie is to discover a deeper purpose, then where better to find one than at the side of the Eorzea's greatest champion? 'Twas there that I found mine, after all. But 'tis past time I was gone. Fair fortunes in your endeavour, Lyn. Ah, Lieutenant Anael, was it? I would appreciate you making no mention of my presence here to my sister. Lady Alisaie, should you arrive at any moment, I shall abide in confident expectation of your triumphant return. And with that, the second coil of Bahamut is now accessible. Yawn. So, my friends, I will be right back. Well, for you, right back. For me, like another 3 hours. How strange. Why could you not see all this before? I suppose it is only to be expected that corrupted crystals should accompany a disturbance of this magnitude. After all, the fragments likely pierce the ground to a depth of many hundred of yalms. The swirling ether leaking from the wound must warp the very air, creating a veil that hides these formations from view. Well, it is not as if we expected this to be a straightforward task. Let's tread carefully, shall we, Lyn? 'Tis imperative that we win through the depths of this structure and disable the mechanism that powers Bahamut's regeneration. Of course, if we should chance to encounter my grandfather upon the way, I shall not let him go again. Not while there is hope that he may yet be saved. But mayhap we should put some thoughts from our mind until after we have successfully gained entrance to the palace, or to the place, I'm sorry. That opening up ahead appears a suitable point of ingress. Right, there we go. That armor! No, it couldn't be. Be on your guard, Lyn. Though it defies all reason that he should live, I know of only one who wears such armor. He whom the Empire raised as high as the Black Wolf himself, the legatus of the 7th Legion. I speak of the madman who brought the Media Project to fruition. We faced the White Raven, Nael van Darnus, harbinger of the 7th Umbral Era. Nael van Darnus? Ah, that was the name of the fool who perished upon the eve of the promised Age of Glory. It should not be uttered within these hallowed halls. Out of love for his loyal servant, the one true deity named me Nael Deus Darnus. The one true deity? Bahamut. He speaks of Bahamut. O Lord Bahamut, thy name is a sweet water to parched lips. How my heart swells at thy sacred touch. This blessed sanctum is the domain of my God and his beloved children. Seek to defile its glory, and you will answer to me. How is this possible? From what Alphinaud has told me, Nael was slain on the eve of the calamity. Whatever the truth of the matter, we must be on our guard. There can be no reasoning with the worshipper of a primal. I am reminded of the passages beneath ffXIV. We must have traveled quite some distance below the surface. More of the same tunnels. 12 be good. Surely they cannot continue all the way down from the upper floors. It is difficult to see inside, but I have a terrible feeling those corridors house more of the dreadful guardians you have already faced. It is said that the Arrogants excelled in the creation of chimerical beasts, and that the Red Moon teemed with 1,000 fanatical monstrosities, all to prevent the enemies of the ancient empire from releasing the Yellow Primal. I wonder, the creatures that prowl these halls, could they be the beloved children of which Nail spoke? Well, this is yet another mystery to ponder upon our return. Shall we continue onwards? That surely cannot be Dalamut, huh? Where are we? The final resting place of Nail Van Darnus. This is a grave for the undeserving. And for the crime of trespassing upon my god's sanctuary, this place shall serve as your grave too. No! In the hour of his failure, Nail Van Darnus felt the currents of ether begin to bear away his essence, but before oblivion could claim the last of him, a divine will reached out, and I was born. Then did the words of my God resound in mine ears. Bring unto mine enemies crushing defeat, that they might know despair without end, and claim thee thus the victory which thou wert once denied. It would seem that there remained of Nail's essence when Bahamut plucked him from the brink of oblivion, and the result was this strange simulacrum. Nevertheless, her aura bespeaks great power. She channels the rage of the Elder Primal himself. Lord Bahamut, thy wish is my command. None shall escape thine unquenchable fury. Come, ye dull unthinking beasts, bare your teeth. They will avail you not in the calamity to come. Here we go. This, my friends, is one of the most difficult fights in the game. At least the base game of Reborn.
A few moments later.
Poor creature. Would that you had never been born. You had surrendered your physical form and collapsed into ether, but Bahamut denied you death and imprisoned what little was left of you, in an ethereal shell resembling what, I wonder? Images from your memory, perhaps? But that shell is now broken, and your primal deity seems disinclined to sustain your existence. My primal deity? I kneel to no icon. What need have I to beg the favor of such filth? I am Neil Van Dorn, still legatus of the 7th Legion. No, a moment. My thoughts are clouded, and his body is not mine own. Could it be that you spoke the truth? Was I ensorcelled by the Lesser Moon's ancient prisoner? That will not happen again. You speak as if Bahamut no longer controlled you, but that's impossible. Once a primal ensnares a mind, it cannot be freed. Unless Bahamut simply relinquished his claim, what need has he of a broken spirit bound for the ethereal realm? Oh, that I should fall prey to the very influence I sought to purge from the land. The irony is galling. But do not assume that all my actions were chosen for me. It was my will that the media project be resurrected. Mine and none other. Yet it seems that my grand designs were destined to fail. Even the ungentle release of death was denied me. Neil, please, you must tell us more of the calamity. I must know the truth of what has befallen the world, and what has become of my grandfather, Archon Louiswa. Your Louiswa's grandchild. Ah, the fates are generous with their cruelty. Continue on if you would have your answers. They await you at the terminus of your path. But I know that this path leads only to despair. The light of truth was ever harsh and unforgiving. Why do you say this? Grandfather will be freed once we put a stop to Bahamut's restoration, will he not? What are you not telling us? Steel yourself, child. Only unbending resolve and merciless strength can conquer what lies ahead. The weak can do naught but to weep under the pall of their own misery, as did the frail child I once was. Silence, chattering raven. Your wretched wings are broken, and you shall soar no more. My crimson moon, your brilliance sears mine eyes. I recognize that voice then, but never would he say such words. Come, let us finish what we came to do. All will be put to right when the final hulk lies dormant. Grandfather will be himself again, I'm sure of it. Oh, okay, just goes into another cutscene. Good. Bahamut regenerates more swiftly than I had anticipated. Let us hope that disabling this coil will serve to slow the process. The display seems different, but the controls appear to mimic the mechanism found in the Lanash Hulk. It shouldn't pose a problem. Then forgive me, the moment I beheld Neil's transformation, hope wilted in my heart. I did not believe you could stand against the manifestation of Bahamut's power. For all your fabled strength and skill, I felt certain then that I was going to lose you, just as I lost my grandfather. Even he, a man for whom naught seemed impossible, was humbled before Bahamut's might. And yet look how far we have come. 'Tis incredible the feats of which we are capable, our boundless potential. It was this capacity for greatness, I believe, that grandfather so dearly wished to protect. With all that has occurred, I have come to understand that much at least. This done, shall we make our way back to the surface and gather our thoughts? We have seen much that will benefit from Urianger's learned perspective. Grandfather, it is you. Then why? Abandon this quest, Alize. I will not countenance further sabotage of the Coils. Sabotage? But we must disable the Coils if we are to prevent Bahamut's revival. Your defiance seals your fate. No. No, you're not who I thought you were. My grandfather would never. Foolish girl. How could the White Raven allow herself to be bested by such sniveling opponents? Listen well. We all exist at the pleasure of one divine will. And the word of Lord Bahamut is absolute. Scurry back into your holes, vermin. You have been granted this one reprieve. But should you be so foolish as to crawl into my lord's domain again, I will crush the life from you myself. That light in grandfather's eyes. He has suffered the same fate as Neo. My grandsire is no more. There was naught but a phantom that profanes his noble memory. His mockery must be expunged. I will not rest until I free grandfather's soul from Bahamut's tyranny. Do you hear me, Bahamut? Your time is at an end. Eorzea and my family will be avenged. Okay, and then suddenly the chat fucking spawns in. How do I get out of here? Down there. Truly, it is wonderful to escape that stifling air and return to the northern Thanalan. Again, it would appear. I must thank you, Lyn. Were it not for your bravery, I strongly doubt that I would be standing here now. Ah, but you need not tarry on my account. The danger has passed. Pray go on ahead and apprise Urianger of all that has occurred. I will join you anon. My thoughts are yet unruly, and I would rest here a while. Pray return to the waking sands. I love the story in the Coils. It's such a good story. Also, that went a lot more smoothly than I ever imagined it would go. I really thought I was gonna go. And I thought it would be more stuck, but honestly, it was really fucking fine. The only boss that we wipes to is Nail, which makes sense because Nail has a lot of like just wipe mechanics in general. However, the run where we beat Nail was maybe not the smoothest run, but it doesn't matter too much. As long as you win it, I don't really care too much. That is synced, of course. Of course, they also had like full echo and all that jazz, but you know, it's just to make things a little bit less insane. The triumphant hero doth return. Thine eyes speak of the dread task's completion. The second coil now lieth dormant. Yet I sense the tidings thou bearest are not altogether glad. Pray tell me, what ill hath cast the shadow which falleth now across thy brow? An old foe and an old friend. So it was but the ethereal shadow of Master Louisoix that Lady Alisaie beheld, an unnatural conjuration in thrall to the elder primal, that the fiend should deign to choose him of all men. Even in full knowledge of the shade's true nature, I would be hard-pressed to weather such a confrontation. Yet what agonies must the young mistress have endured? Such torment did she ne'er deserve. Mayhap 'twere better if the Lady Alisaie did absent herself from future forays unto the coils. I have come too far to surrender to grief, Urianger. My lady, I am resolved to defeat these fiends, and naught shall sway me from my path. Now let us peer more deeply into the well of our discoveries. As you wish, my lady. By your leave, I would speak first of the coil's late guardian, Nael Van Darnus. Van Darnus was a legatus of the Gallian Empire who strove to bring about Eorzea's final destruction, only to fall even as his sixth sun did set. If thou hast heard tales of the White Raven, then it is he of whom they speak. Aye, he, I say, for Nael was for a certainty no maid. The noble house of Van Darnus, as we discovered all too late, had long safeguarded the wisdom of ancient Alac. 'Twas thus that the legatus came to learn the true nature of Bahamut, and to seek to employ the Red Moon as a weapon against Eorzea. But the crystal tower and the mechanisms required to command the satellite yet lay hidden beneath the ground, compelling Nael to construct a far less subtle mechanism. And in his first faltering attempts to communicate with Bahamut, it likely aroused the satellite's slumbering prisoner, then force that the White Raven's soul belonged to Bahamut. He was fortunate indeed to acquire so powerful a thrall by chance. It's little wonder he was so loath to part with him. Why not a simple thing like death deprive one of so useful a pawn? Though we may accuse him of bungling Van Darnus' resurrection, I dare say Bahamut was as content to have a handmaiden as a manservant. Sorry, I'm fixing my headset for a sec. There we go. I only hope that the true thralls were encountered with the extent of his flock. Or the extent, whatever. Yet I cannot help but dwell on Nael's words, those beloved children of whom he spoke. I assumed at first that he referred to the moon's beastly guardians, but should Bahamut have enslaved other mortals, we must needs remove this source of worship. Otherwise our efforts to disable the coils shall be for naught. Forgive me mine indelicacies, my lady. Thou art wise indeed to speak of expunging the primal's thralls, but canst thou truly pursue a course which would cost thee thine own grandsire? My heart and mind are as one in this matter. Grandfather's salvation can be won, but by a single method, the destruction of Bahamut, and aught that might serve to sustain him. Then, while Urianger and I endeavour to ascertain the existence of any further thralls, I suggest you grant yourself a moment's respite. Rest assured that I will contact you the moment I have need of your inimitable talent. That we have achieved so much I owe to you. I fear, however, that our trials have yet to begin. Though time hath dulled the pain of thy passing, I find that I am wounded afresh. Master Louisoix, what good shall come of this unending search for knowledge and truth? Long have I believed the pursuit of such treasures to be the duty of every true Shorlian. Yet when each new revelation serveth only to heap further anguish upon those whom we would fain protect, must we truly reach for more? Okay. So you have found your resolve. Okay, this is out. This is alpha now. So you have found your resolve, dear sister. Will you now find a use for the secret? For the key that only you and I hold? Given our familiar propensity for curiosity, you would do well to remember that keys may serve to seal doors as well as to unlock them. And Bahamut is a most unwelcome guest to whom the door should never have been opened. And that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this episode of just us playing Final Fantasy XIV, and next episode we're going to go into even more Coils! Goodbye.